mistreated that may not no longer have the ability to maintain their house. But there was a very significant issue with a lady over here on Page that the city took to court. She had a house that was built in 1940. She's owned it for 13 years. The house is zoned R1, meaning residential one family. It has two separate entrances, two separate kitchens, two separate floors, so an entrance for each one.
Duplex
It's
style?
it's designed as a two-family house, two living rooms, two everything. She owns the house for 13 years. She's had rental inspections. It's a rental house. She's had rental inspections for 13 consecutive years. Passes every time. The city now takes her to court and says, this house is zoned R1, so you're going to have to tell one of your tenants to move. And I think this is completely unfair because this house predates the city. The city was established in 1957. This house was built in 1940. They've inspected it for 13 years, put a certificate of whatever okay on it, and all of a sudden now it's a huge issue. The thing that really irked me was the lady came to court and she says, I rent this house to special needs people. There's a special needs family upstairs, special needs family downstairs. And she says, upsetting their life is going to be traumatic. We don't care.
I appreciate your concern. I encourage you to send her our way. If she has
And she
concerns, we
said,
can
she
help
said,
her.
I called everybody in the city, nobody listens. And I
don't
seen
have a
it,
name
I
to
seen,
go with
I
it.
do, I have that
Send her
information.
mine. Send her our way.
It was just heartbreaking. You know, and we have a lady that was a parishioner of our own church, and there's just no compassion for the elderly. I mean, we got this new lawn cutting ordinance. Everybody should have their property maintained to the best of their ability, but you know, this lady, this house was owned by her parents. Her parents died. She's been a lifelong resident, like 65, 70 years. I'm not exactly sure of her exact age. She was in the hospital. They put a note on her door that she has two cars in her backyard. Her husband had just passed away. They were his classic cars. So while she was in the hospital, they towed the two cars. So the cars are in impound. Then some kids in the neighborhood turned on her outside water spouts. And so the city came and just shut her water off. They didn't shut the water spouts, the spigots off that were flowing. They actually turned her water off. So when she came home from the hospital, she was freaked out because she's like, my bills are paid, my cars are gone, and I don't even have water in my house. And I just got back from the hospital and I can't even go anywhere or do anything. And she freaked out. Who did she call? She called the church. But I mean, you know, there has to be some modicum of common sense.
So you get two pieces going
And
on.
compassion.
Are you, okay.
You know, there's got to be like safeguards. If you have people that have been in the community for a way long period of time.
So, ready to step back, step
Sure.
up, step back?
I'll step back.
Okay. I don't want to cut you off, but
No.
I want to be sensitive to the time.
Yep, we're good.
Which is, I appreciate your advocacy and I appreciate your passion. The best way to solve a problem is to put someone directly in contact with the city so we can work through it. Doing it one piece removed, we're not able to get the details.
Is there an
to get them.
ombudsman?
What was that?
Is there an ombudsman? An ombudsman, is there an ombudsman?
Me, I'm your ombudsman. So let me dig into this a little bit. So number one, property maintenance job is to enforce ordinances. What that means is the ordinances apply equal to everyone, right? And these are our universal standards that everyone has accountability to maintain our property and be good neighbors, right? And they're not the court. They don't get to make the up-down decision, not Judge Judy. Their job is, if a complaint is filed or they observe properties that are not in compliance with the ordinances, you have a warning, you have an opportunity to change it and correct it. And then there is a penalty. It could be a fine, it could be, if it goes to the legal matter, then it goes to the courts, and that's out of the hand of the city, they decide that.
You see, that negates the concept of freedom. Freedom means you can do whatever you like to do, as long as you don't impede other people and infer on their rights to be free.
So,
In other words,
when you
if-
when you live in a community, we have, collective agreements, it's a social contract, ordinances
Yeah.
are, the people who create ordinances are the elected representatives of the
Right.
community.
But I live in a commune. I'm in a commune.
You're not in a commune, sir.
The senior citizens over there at the commune.
It's not a collective, you pay your rent,
We got
you get your housing.
we got a commissar. We have a commissar, we have a commune.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
And,
it.
and nobody comes out. Nobody comes out. Everybody hides behind the door. You remember the movie The Matrix, where it looks down this great big long hall? That's what it's like in that apartment. You look down a great big hall with nothing but doors,
Sir,
and they're all locked.
thank you for that. Just remember, when we live in a community, we agreed to standards, right? And those are ordinances. Ordinances are established by the elected representatives of this community, and they are enforced by the executive. I believe today, as a mayor, as I did as a classroom teacher, is that the only way to be fair is to be firm, fair, and consistent. The standard is the same for everyone. We don't pick favors. We don't pick who to ignore. Is you meet the standards or you don't meet the standards, you have a chance to remediate and improve. Or then it proceeds to the third
But
branch of
there's always
government,
extenuating
which is the
circumstances.
courts.
There are extenuating circumstances.
So let's talk about those extenuating circumstances, because you're not wrong. We do have people who are elderly, who are infirmed, and they're often through senior citizens, Macomb County, Interfaith Caregivers, even Councilwoman Rogancy created an organization that helps match interested volunteers with people in the community who are asking for assistance. So there are opportunities to get assistance. Property management, that's not their job. Their job is to maintain our properties and make sure that landlords, homeowners, and everyone are good neighbors, maintain good neighbors. So if you know of someone who needs assistance, please direct them to us. I know that you have some resources through Macomb County, but we can help direct them to where they can apply for assistance.
One of the issues, though, is, it's not always consistent across the board, because the city impounded our dumpster from our church. There's 11 other dumpsters. The problem on 9 Mile Road is the buildings it's residential right behind. So there's no place for a dumpster in the back of the building or the side or whatever. The only place you can put a dumpster is, in front of the building, because that's the only parking lot or space that you could put a dumpster, period. There's 11 other people between Hoover and Van Dyke that have dumpsters, and mine's the only dumpster that got seized and impounded by the city.
So to vary from the site plan and add anything external.
Well, I've asked several of the
Hold
other
on,
people.
Curtis.
Oh, go ahead.
Step up, step back.
Yep,
That was our norm?
cool.
Okay. In order to have a dumpster or add exterior buildings or anything to the exterior that wasn't part of the original site plan has to go through the planning commission. You have to seek a variance from the city or get a planned change to that. I don't determine that. All businesses, all residents have the option to take any proposed changes to the correct body and get that.
Well, I'm confused because we had a city inspector tell us to get a dumpster to help us manage our waste. So we have one inspector tell us to get it, and the only reason we got the dumpster was because we were told to get it. Actually, he told us to get a second dumpster. And then another city inspector says, you can't have that. So, we have a conflict.
At a certain point, the courts decide the conflict. conflict and direct.
But
What
we
the
actually
next
had a
steps
city
are.
employee say, get a dumpster, and we did.
So
I
can't
used to haul my
speak to-
trash away, and they said, you have to better manage it, get a dumpster, so we got a dumpster at their direction.
So I cannot speak to all the other communications that may have happened as part of an interaction.
Okay.
But I appreciate the question and want anyone in the community to know that if they wanna make a change to their property beyond the footprint that is in their site plan, that needs to be directed and with a new site plan to the planning commission. That's the proper step of navigating local government. Lori, welcome.
Thank you. I want to ask, I walked in and I assumed that you were talking about what happened at the council meeting Tuesday night.
I don't think anyone has asked about council yet, okay?
No, I'm pretty sure that's what I heard you talk about.
Add more.
No, that you were suggesting maybe there was libel. You don't make accusations.
Oh, that was something, well, we talked on a bigger ground of what are the responsibilities and different platforms. So in the general public, if you either make public pronouncements or write things that are untrue and inaccurate, and you have to seek the legal threshold of what is damaging as legal or liable or slanderous. There are exemptions for elected officials of certain bodies who are making declarations during the course of government actions.
So is that something that you should be discussing with people in this meeting before it started? Because
I think anything is a valid discussion.
okay.
It's a concern though. I as an elected official, I hold myself to a standard that, try to come prepared, make sure that I'm making accurate statements. And especially when we're dealing with issues that are we talked about employment, human resources, these things that affect people's professional lives and careers need to be handled with accuracy and make sure that
So
people aren't
you
recruited.
are suggesting that they're not accurate. You're
All I'm
publicly telling people that what happened wasn't accurate.
I didn't reference anything.
Well,
I
I'm
was
pretty
I
sure
was-
I heard that.
No, what I said was, I was surprised to learn that city council is one of the bodies, along with the state legislature, that you can make an inaccurate and libelous or slanderous statement and not be held accountable. So, it is important that we hold ourselves as elected officials to standards of integrity that make sure we're not repeating rumors if they're unsubstantiated, make sure that we're not repeating things that are inaccurate if we don't have evidence to support them. Hearsay, rumor, gossip are not standards, especially when you're dealing with someone's career.
Well,
We can't agree that we should not lie and that we should not repeat gossip and rumors. We can't agree on that.
well, what I'm saying is that you are responding to what happened Tuesday night.
I
in a
haven't
way that
referenced Tuesday night.
Well, I'm not stupid, and I know that's exactly what you were talking about.
I was talking about research that was done well before
Why?
city council,
Why?
because I was concerned
Yeah.
about what statements people
About what
would make.
happened Tuesday night.
I was concerned about
Right.
statements
And I
people
was
would make.
concerned about how you behaved on Tuesday night. It's just embarrassing, and I like you. I don't want that to happen.
I'm
And
sorry.
I also wanna say for the people here,
Yeah,
Harvest Time is not being persecuted, just so that you don't go home thinking that's true. So that's all I wanna say.
and again, my statements here have continued to reinforce why I'm here. I'm the executive, I'm responsible for enforcement of city ordinances, city law. make sure that they are consistently, firmly, and fairly applied. And so for the comfort and peace of mind of people in our community. I'm sorry if you did not approve of, I'm sorry that you felt that my behavior did not comport in the way you expected of me. However, I had an appointee and that I stand by. I believe in the professionalism, and I will hold council to the same standards of what does the charter language say, what do the rules of order say, and sometimes that means forcibly saying, I think you're out of line, and if we don't speak up when we see something that we disagree with or we feel that it's failing us in the community, silence is consent.
No. Wisdom would have said not to do what you did at the meeting and deal with it professionally.
I respectfully
Outside the meeting.
disagree.
Okay,
When I feel someone's career is on the line and that nobody has been able to provide substance for how, what was insinuated, they were unable to provide any evidence, any documentation.
and you
There's
realize that was
professionals,
because they
people
were
on
protecting
the
the
lines.
people that shared information. That's
Again,
why the whole.
There are standards.
Okay,
of
we're all
what's
done,
accepted.
cause all you're doing is like promoting yourself as, you know, you did the right thing, and I think what you did
I
was-
believe that I stood in my values and I acted in accordance with those values, correct? And we can respectfully disagree.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like our time here is coming to an end. But
Thank you.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity.
You understand.
Appreciate it.